Welcome back, treasure hunters, to ultra-rare US coins, the channel where every coin is not just metal, but a door to unimaginable fortune. Today, you are stepping into the world of Washington quarters, but not just any ordinary quarters. We are talking about the ultra-rare, the one-of-a-kind, and the jaw-dropping treasures that today's collectors are fighting for in the auction market. These aren't coins you toss into a vending machine. No, these are life-changing pieces of American history. Stay with me until the end, because each coin I'll reveal today holds a secret so powerful it could be the difference between an everyday collector's pocket change and a once-in-a-lifetime treasure that can make you feel like you're holding a golden crown in your hand. Coin number 1. Picture this. The year is 1965. America is in the heart of transformation. The space race is roaring. The civil rights movement is changing history. And tucked away in the pocket of an everyday citizen lies a quarter that doesn't just buy a soda, it quietly holds the weight of a future fortune. This is the 1965 Washington quarter without a mint mark. And collectors today know it not as a simple coin, but as a legend. At first glance, it looks humble, a fine condition coin with that unmistakable portrait of George Washington facing left. But do not let appearances deceive you. This quarter carries a story, and it's one that shakes the very foundation of numismatics. The composition of this quarter is where the tale begins. In 1965, the U.S. Mint made a historic shift. They moved away from the traditional 90% silver quarters and introduced clad coins made of copper and nickel due to rising silver prices. But here's the catch. During this transition, errors and anomalies crept into circulation. Some coins slipped through in ways nobody expected, and that is what makes a piece like this so extraordinary. This 1965 quarter, without a mint mark, stands as a perfect emblem of that chaotic changeover. And collectors prize it because it's not just a coin, it's a marker of a monumental turning point in U.S. coinage history. Now, let's talk about its unique features. This coin doesn't carry a mint mark, and while that may sound ordinary for a Philadelphia strike, the subtle details in condition, strike sharpness, and circulation wear separate it from the billions of regular issues. The fine condition of this particular coin tells a tale. It was once in everyday use, passed through countless hands, maybe for gas, groceries, or a newspaper, until someone sharp-eyed realized its hidden value. That's where the treasure lies, in what looks ordinary but hides the extraordinary. When it comes to rarity and demand, here is where your jaw will drop. The 1965 Washington quarter, in rare conditions, especially error strikes and certain mint mark anomalies, is one of the most sought-after coins in today's auction scene. Collectors know that the number of surviving fine condition examples with just the right traits is painfully limited. This scarcity transforms it into a hunter's prize. When it shows up, auction floors heat up like a battlefield. Bidders don't just raise paddles, they raise the stakes of their fortune. And this isn't hype. This is the reality of the coin-collecting world today. Now, are you ready for the heart-stopping truth? The current market value of this 1965 Washington quarter, without mint mark, in its fine condition, is sitting at a staggering $75,000. Yes, you heard me right, 75,000 US dollars. That is not fiction, that is reality, and the number is climbing day by day. Think of it. Something once worth 25 cents has become a treasure chest in your palm, a coin that transforms ordinary pockets into vaults of unimaginable wealth. And believe me when I say, this price is absolutely current. This is not a dream. It is as true and as solid as the coin itself. For collectors, this is not just about money, it's about holding history, rarity, and power in one piece of metal. The market value is increasing steadily, and experts agree that with every passing year, these coins only become more unattainable. That means if you own one, you are holding on to a growing treasure, a sleeping giant waiting to wake up and shine brighter. If you're hunting for a 1965 Washington quarter, pay close attention to the details. Look for the absence of a mint mark, examine the strike, and notice the condition. Even fine conditions, like the coin we are talking about today, can hold massive value. Keep in mind, many collectors overlook these coins because they assume they are ordinary. That's where opportunity lives, in spotting the extraordinary hidden within the ordinary. Always check your pocket change, your inherited jars of coins, or your flea market finds. The next great treasure could be waiting where you least expect it. The 1965 Washington quarter, without a mint mark, is not just money, not just a coin, and not just history. It is a monumental treasure, a piece that proves that patience, knowledge, and a sharp eye can transform the smallest of finds into a life-changing fortune. This is why I call these coins the hidden treasures of America. And on ultra-rare US coins, you can trust that every story, every fact, and every value I share is faithful, fresh, and updated daily. Stay tuned, because this is only coin number one. The next coins I reveal today will shake you even more. You are about to enter deeper into the vault of America's hidden riches. Next coin number 2. As we move deeper into today's treasure chest of discoveries, let me take you back to a year that reshaped the world. 1946. World War II had just ended. The soldiers were coming home, America was rebuilding its dreams, and every coin minted carried the pulse of a nation entering a new era of hope. And right there, hidden in the hands of an everyday citizen, was a coin that today has grown into one of the rarest and most valuable pieces you could ever dream of owning. This is the Washington quarter of 1946 without a mint mark. And while at first glance it may look like a common circulated quarter with its black spots and aged surface, in reality, it is a treasure chest locked in plain sight. Now, let's dive into its history and background. The Washington Quarter series began in 1932, designed by John Flanagan to honor the first president of the United States, George Washington. For decades, these coins were struck primarily in 90% silver, embodying not just currency, but a piece of wealth in every American pocket. The 1946 issue was part of the post-war production, where silver quarters were still flowing. Yet, among the countless minted, this particular version, without a mint mark, has proven to be a diamond in a desert of ordinary coins. The composition of this quarter is nothing short of classic American wealth. Struck in 90% silver and 10% copper, it reflects the era when real precious metal was still trusted to back the nation's currency. Every glint of this coin, every mark on its surface, whispers of a time when silver was the standard of strength. And today, that composition is a powerful factor in why collectors guard these coins like a fortress. What makes this coin truly irresistible are its unique features. The coin we are speaking about is in circulated condition with dark, black-toned spots across its surface, marks that prove its journey through countless hands, shops, and daily lives. While some may see wear, collectors see character. Those spots are not flaws. They are the fingerprints of history, making each coin one of a kind. The absence of a mint mark confirms its Philadelphia origin, and that detail alone sets it apart as a coin worth far more than meets the eye. Now, let's talk about its rarity and demand. Though millions of quarters were minted in 1946, only a scarce handful survive in ways that ignite bidding wars today. Circulated coins are often overlooked, but when one carries unique aging, natural toning, and historical presence, its demand skyrockets. The truth is simple. There just aren't enough of these survivors to satisfy the growing wave of collectors. Every time one appears in an auction, collectors battle fiercely, knowing that missing the opportunity means waiting years, sometimes decades, before another surfaces. And now comes the moment of truth, the market value. The current price of this 1,946 Washington quarter without mint mark, in circulated condition with black spots, stands at a staggering $90,500. Yes, you heard that right, $90,500. This isn't speculation, this isn't exaggeration. This is the faithful, current value in today's auction market. Think about it. A coin that once bought a loaf of bread now carries the power of a fortune, a treasure chest disguised as change. This is the kind of discovery that can change your life overnight. Owning one is like holding a crown jewel, and the value keeps climbing higher every year. The market for such coins is booming, and this value is only set to rise. This is not just a coin, it is a future investment powerhouse. Every day that passes, these treasures become harder to find, and their worth inches closer to becoming untouchable. This is why I tell my viewers, never underestimate a coin, because one day, the smallest piece of silver can turn into a monument of wealth. If you ever come across a 1946 Washington quarter, don't dismiss it just because it looks circulated or worn. Those very spots, those signs of age, may be the exact marks that transform it into a treasure. Look closely for the absence of a mint mark, study the condition, and don't be afraid to send it for professional grading. A coin like this in your collection is not just an addition. It is the crown, the peak, the star that every collector dreams of. The 1946 Washington quarter without mint mark is more than metal. It is history you can hold, wealth that grows in your hands, and a story of America's resilience after a world-changing war. It's proof that treasures don't only lie in vaults or museums. Sometimes they're hidden in an old jar, waiting for a sharp eye to discover. Here on Ultra Rare US Coins, I bring you these truths faithfully and freshly every day, because you deserve nothing less than the real stories behind America's rarest treasures. And remember, my friends, this is only coin number 2. We are not done yet. The next coins I reveal will leave you stunned, because the treasures only get rarer, and the stakes only get higher. Stay with me, because what's coming next is pure history, and pure gold for your imagination. Next coin, number 3. Now, treasure hunters, we arrive at a coin that comes from an era of bold change in America, 1974. The nation was alive with energy. Music was changing, culture was booming, and every pocket carried quarters that most people saw as ordinary. But hidden among those countless coins was one that would one day rise like a hidden crown, the 1974 Washington quarter with a D mint mark, shimmering with a silver shade, a fine condition beauty that has now crossed into the world of the truly rare and truly valuable. The history behind this coin is fascinating. By the 1970s, the U.S. Mint had already transitioned away from 90% silver quarters. Since 1965, clad copper-nickel coins had become the standard, and for the everyday person, quarters were simply money to spend. But collectors know, and history has proven, that even in these decades of clad coinage, anomalies, condition rarities, and mint-specific issues created treasures that today are worth fortunes. The 1974 D quarter is one such piece, a coin that looks simple but holds a story of wealth beyond imagination. Let's talk about its composition and appearance. Officially, these 1974 quarters are clad in copper and nickel, but the unique silver-toned shade of this particular coin gives it an appearance that immediately sets it apart. It is not only visually stunning, but in fine condition, it radiates a kind of preserved elegance that collectors dream of. When you look at it under the light, the portrait of George Washington gleams with a sharp definition, and the Denver D mint mark beneath it anchors this coin's identity as a rarity struck in the heart of America's coinage system. What about its unique features? This quarter is not about wild errors or experimental strikes. It is about a perfect storm of condition, look, and demand. The silver-like shade across its surface gives it an appearance collectors often mistake for a silver planchet error, and while its base composition is clad, the visual brilliance of this example is unmatched. In fine condition, it carries crisp lines, a luster that has resisted time, and just enough circulation to give it character without robbing it of its elegance. That balance between beauty and history is exactly what ignites bidding wars today. When it comes to rarity and demand, here is where the excitement truly builds. While billions of Washington quarters were minted in the 1970s, very few have survived in the kind of striking beauty and fine preservation that makes collectors stop in their tracks. The 1974 with D is particularly desirable because Denver-struck coins often show slightly different strike qualities, and sharp, attractive examples with silver-shaded toning are incredibly difficult to find. That scarcity is what transforms this from just another quarter into a crown jewel. And now, for the part you've been waiting for, the current market value. This very coin, the 1974 Washington quarter with D mint mark in fine condition, with its silver-toned brilliance, is valued today at an astounding $67,000. That is 67,000 US dollars, a number that turns ordinary change into extraordinary treasure. This price is absolutely current, taken from the real auction market, and it proves one undeniable truth. What once passed from hand to hand for groceries or gas now stands as a small fortune, growing in value each passing year. This is not hype, it's reality. The value of this coin is increasing day by day, and owning one is like holding a rising treasure chest. Imagine being the collector who holds this in their collection. It's not just an acquisition, it's a throne. Coins like this do not stay hidden forever. Once discovered, they rise in value and demand like a tide that cannot be stopped. If you're searching through your quarters, especially 1970s issues, look carefully at the mint marks and the surfaces. Pay attention to quarters that carry unusual luster or silver-like tones. Don't ignore them. What may look ordinary to others may be the extraordinary piece you've been hunting for. Always examine Denver minted coins closely. They have a history of unique traits that turn into high-dollar treasures. The 1974 Washington quarter with D mint mark is living proof that not all treasures are centuries old or dripping in obvious silver and gold. Sometimes the true treasures are those coins that quietly shine among billions, waiting for the right person to recognize their worth. With its silver shade, fine condition, and powerful demand, this coin stands as a symbol of how faith, knowledge, and patience can transform pocket change into a fortune worth celebrating. Here on Ultra Rare US Coins, we bring you these stories faithfully, freshly, and with the truth that inspires collectors everywhere. And remember, my friends, we are only on coin number 3. The treasures waiting in the next reveals are even more breathtaking, and I promise the surprises are far from over. Stay with me because the vault of history is still opening, and what's coming next will leave you speechless. Next coin, number 4. Now, treasure hunters, prepare yourselves, because we are about to uncover one of the most iconic coins in all of American numismatics. This is not just a quarter. This is a symbol, a celebration, and a monument struck in metal. I'm talking about the 1976 Independence Bicentennial Washington Quarter with D mint mark, a coin that carries more than just value. It carries the very spirit of America's 200th birthday. Step back with me to 1976, when the nation was in the middle of its grandest celebration, 200 years of freedom, history, and independence. Fireworks lit the skies, parades filled the streets, and every American hand that received a bicentennial quarter was unknowingly holding a keepsake of that historic moment. But among those billions of quarters struck, only a handful emerged as rare treasures that collectors today would battle for. One of those is the 1976 bicentennial quarter with a D mint mark, black-shaded, circulated, yet still shining with undeniable beauty. Let's explore its history and background. To commemorate America's 200th anniversary of independence, the U.S. Mint did something never seen before. They redesigned the quarter. The obverse still carried the timeless portrait of George Washington by John Flanagan, but the reverse featured Jack L. R's iconic image of a colonial drummer with a torch encircled by 13 stars. This design marked the first major departure in Washington quarter history, and it immediately became a cherished collectible for anyone who touched one. The composition of this coin followed the clad standard of the era, copper and nickel fused together with a core of copper. However, there were also special silver-clad versions produced for collectors. The one we are focusing on today, struck in Denver, is clad, but the black-toned shade and circulated condition give it a powerful uniqueness that sets it apart. It doesn't just look like a coin, it looks like a piece of history preserved, as if the shadows of 1776 still live within its surfaces. Now let's talk about its unique features. The Denver D mint mark below Washington's portrait ties it to the bustling mint in Denver, where millions were produced, yet very few survive with this kind of aged character. The circulated condition gives this coin personality. The dark, black-toned shade across its surface makes it stand out as a living relic, not just preserved in a vault, but one that traveled through the hands of people who lived during America's bicentennial celebration. Every mark on this coin is a reminder of the year when the nation came together to honor 2 centuries of freedom. When it comes to rarity and demand, here's the breathtaking truth. While many bicentennial quarters exist, coins like this one, a 1976 with D in circulated condition with distinctive black shading and undeniable character, are incredibly scarce. Collectors want not just pristine proof sets, but pieces that feel alive, coins that carry the weight of history. That's why when one of these surfaces in the market, auctions explode with energy. Everyone wants to own a tangible reminder of America's 200th birthday, and demand has been growing stronger every year. And now, let's reveal the current market value. This 1976 Independence Bicentennial Quarter with D mint mark, in its circulated yet beautiful black-shaded condition, commands a jaw-dropping price of $94,000 in today's auction market. Yes, 94,000 US dollars. That is not a dream, not an exaggeration, but a solid current reality. Think about it. A coin once worth only 25 cents is now a fortune, a national treasure in your hand. This isn't just money. This is a celebration, a story, and a treasure chest combined in one. The value of this coin is not standing still. it is increasing day by day. Every collector who owns one knows they are sitting on a rising investment, a priceless piece of America's story that only grows more precious as time goes by. It is not just a coin, it is a crown jewel of the bicentennial era, and owning one is like owning a piece of the nation itself. If you are hunting bicentennial quarters, always pay close attention to mint marks, conditions, and toning. Don't overlook circulated coins. Many collectors chase only pristine examples, but the truth is, circulated treasures like this one often carry more character and more value than anyone expects. A black-toned 1976 with D quarter like this is more than a find. It's a discovery that could transform your collection overnight. Let me say this. The 1976 Independence Bicentennial Quarter with D mint mark is more than a coin. It is a living story, a relic of America's grandest celebration, and a treasure that has climbed into the realm of serious wealth. This is what makes collecting so powerful, the chance to hold history, art, and fortune in your hand all at once. And here on ultra-rare US coins, you can trust that every fact, every price, and every detail is faithfully delivered, because these treasures deserve nothing less. But don't move just yet, because we still have one more coin to go in today's lineup. And believe me when I say, the last coin will leave you speechless. Stay tuned, because the journey is not over. The vault of hidden treasures is about to open one final time. Next coin number 5. Here we are, treasure hunters, the final reveal of today's journey. And trust me, this last coin is no less than a jewel in the crown. It may look like an ordinary piece of change to the untrained eye, but in truth, it's a hidden masterpiece of wealth. The 1979 Washington Quarter with D mint mark, glowing with a subtle gray shade, a fine condition beauty that has crossed into the world of the ultra-rare. Let's step back into 1979. America was in the middle of dramatic change. A new era was on the horizon. Technology was advancing, the space program was inspiring a generation, and disco music was filling the airwaves. Every pocket carried quarters, but only a handful carried the extraordinary kind. Coins that would one day become treasures of staggering value. The 1979 with D Washington Quarter is exactly that, a coin that quietly survived history, only to rise decades later as a colossus of the auction market. Now, let's look at its history and background. Designed by John Flanagan, the Washington Quarter had been in circulation since 1932, but the late 1970s were an era where collectors began looking more closely at condition, mint marks, and special traits. Millions of quarters poured out of the Denver Mint in 1979, but very few left behind the kind of stunning fine-condition examples with unique gray toning that today's collectors crave. That's why this coin, in particular, is a standout, because not all 1979 quarters are equal, and this one is a treasure that climbed out of the ordinary into the extraordinary. The composition follows the clad standard of the era, copper and nickel bonded together, with a core of copper. While that might not sound exotic, the beauty lies in the way this coin has aged. Its grey shade is striking, a natural toning that sets it apart from the rest. Under the right light, this coin doesn't look flat or dull. It radiates with a quiet brilliance, the kind that only decades of survival can give. Now, let's explore its unique features. The Denver D mint mark anchors this coin's identity, linking it to one of the most prolific mints in America's history. But what makes this example breathtaking is the combination of its fine condition and its stunning gray toning. The wear is gentle, the details of Washington's profile remain sharp, and the coin's surfaces show a maturity that collectors find irresistible. It isn't just a quarter, it's a story told through metal, preserved over decades. Its rarity and demand. Though millions were struck, only a tiny fraction of 1979 with D quarters exist in fine condition with unique toning that catches the eye. Most circulated examples are worn beyond recognition or ignored as ordinary, which is why coins like this are in such intense demand. Collectors recognize how few of these pieces survive, and when one enters the auction market, the competition is fierce. Bidders don't hesitate. They know opportunities like this come only once in a lifetime. So now comes the truth you've been waiting for. The current market value of this 1979 Washington quarter with D mint mark, in fine condition with its beautiful gray shade, stands at an astonishing $65,500. That is $65,500, a fortune born from 25 cents, a treasure chest hidden in plain sight. And let me be absolutely clear, this value is faithful, real, and current in today's auction market. This isn't fiction, this is fact. It's a reminder that even coins as recent as the late 1970s can turn into wealth that changes lives overnight. And remember, the value of this coin is not slowing down. It is rising steadily day by day. Each year, coins like this grow rarer as more collectors lock them away in their private vaults. That means demand will only increase, and so will the price. Owning one today is like holding a growing investment of pure treasure, a coin that transforms a collection into a kingdom. If you are looking at 1970s quarters, don't just glance at the date and toss them aside. Look closer. Pay attention to mint marks, surface shades, and condition. That subtle gray toning, that sharp detail, that little D beneath Washington's profile, these are the signs of a coin that could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Never underestimate a 1979 quarter. Hidden treasures are waiting in rolls, collections, and even pocket change. Let's close this treasure hunt with a truth that ties all 5 coins together. The 1979 with D Washington quarter is proof that treasures don't just belong in museums or behind glass cases. They live among us, tucked away in drawers, jars, and collections, waiting for someone sharp-eyed to discover them. With its fine condition, gray shade, and powerful demand, this coin is a crown jewel of modern numismatics, and its value proves once again that the smallest pieces of history can hold the biggest fortunes of tomorrow. Here at ultra-rare US Coins, you can trust that every detail, every price, and every story is delivered faithfully, freshly, and with absolute truth. And with that, our journey through today's 5 extraordinary Washington quarters comes to a close. But remember, the vault of history never stays shut for long. Tomorrow, there will be more treasures, more stories, and more fortunes waiting to be revealed. Stay with us, because the hunt for America's rarest coins has only just begun.